Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Hello, and thank you for listening to New Life Live and for watching us as well on YouTube. My name is Brian Perez, and I am here today with licensed marriage and family therapist Marc Cameron and licensed marriage and family therapist JJ West. How are you guys doing today?
Good. So good to be here.
Yeah, I would agree. JJ, what's on your mind these days, man?
Doing great. Oh, man. We just got back this past weekend. We were in Atlanta for the Every Man's Battle Intensive. Mm-hmm. And you know what I heard over and over that weekend, and this is not uncommon. This is what we hear every time we do the intensive. But what I heard over and over from the guys was it felt so good to be in a room with other men who were struggling. I didn't feel so alone. I came in feeling so alone. I came in feeling, and that's what shame does. Shame isolates us. Shame tells us we're the worst. We're the only one with this problem. Nobody else would understand. And we isolate and we hide. We withdraw from the very source of hope and healing that God offers us. And so I think that there's so many people who are listening, who are living in isolation, and they're living with this false belief that somehow if I get around that turn, if I get to that destination, that'll fix it. I'll be okay. And then I can rejoin society. Then I can interact with people when I've gotten myself fixed. And we never realize that in order for me to heal, I have to be in relationship with others. I have to come out of isolation. And I know that's scary. It's so scary. When we're in our shame, man, we are certain that we're going to get rejected. But there's these places we can go. And New Life's not the only show in town, but we do put together these places where you can go and you can be you. And it's the safest space on the planet for you to be authentically you and to be loved and accepted. And that's where you start to experience the healing. So don't isolate. Join in on the healing.
Yeah, it's so true what you're saying there, JJ, about how people in addiction, and well, just all of us, will think, if I can just get to here, then I'll be okay. And in addiction recovery, we call that the lies we tell ourselves. And there's a reason why AA and NA and all of these organizations are so successful, and they're all in group formats, is because when we get into the groups and we find other people who share the burden with us, we can get encouragement and we can get resources and find healing in the shared community.
That's absolutely right. Yeah,
and the format for these intensives, it's not just a conference or a seminar that people go to, so it's more that, and
it's not a lecture series.
Right.
We go large group, small group to process what we're learning, but also to build those relationships with those other attendees.
So guys, there's another Every Man's Battle Intensive happening next month, February 28th in Orange County, California. You can find out more about it at newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And we've also got a podcast series on the New Life Ministries YouTube channel. You can listen to the first season or the second season. It just started recently. In fact, episode 2 just dropped a few days ago. So you can go watch episode 1 and episode 2, and then you'll learn what's going on with Every Man's Battle. And again, if you want to attend, there's one coming up February 28th in Orange County, California. We will be back with more of your phone calls in just a moment here on New Life Live. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching, and click that like button if you're watching on YouTube.
Restore gave me strength. It gave me more belief in my faith. I met up with a group of women that are going through things that they had no control over.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our lives. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Dallas, Texas, May 2nd through the 4th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
I had a great experience at Restore.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Hello, I'm Brian Perez. This is New Life Live, and we are going to get right to the phone calls right now. And let's see, we have Lisa, we have Hope up there, but we're going to begin with Monica in Denver, Colorado, who is watching us on YouTube. So let's wave there to Monica, who is in Colorado. Welcome to the program, Monica.
Hi.
Hello. What's going on with you? Thanks for calling.
Well, my question revolves about respect for my husband. We've been married 35 years. He can't keep a job. He doesn't help around the house at all. He's never worked with the kids. He hasn't worked in a year. I've always had to be the steady income, all the bills, all the traditional female, quote unquote, jobs, domestic jobs. And he says I don't respect him. And I've asked him what that looks like. He can't give me an answer. And finally, after just like a lot of soul searching and I said to him recently, it's like, I don't. You can't hold a job. You're not bringing any money in. I'm having to support us for years on end. I can't even count the number of jobs he's had or lost or gotten fired from. And so I'm really struggling with that. He withholds any affection. Anyway, just help me with where to go with this.
Okay, what do you guys say?
Wow, what do you think is the reason that he can't hold a job, Monica? What happens? Is there a theme?
He's very slow, and just for my background, and he'll agree, I think he is on the Asperger spectrum. He doesn't seem to have emotion or feelings for other people. What he says is right, and that's the way it goes. He's damaged family relationships. He will not apologize, even if he knows he's in the wrong.
Has he been?
I don't know.
Has he been officially diagnosed with Asperger's?
We've been to counseling quite a few times. He won't do any of the homework or any of the things they tell us to do. So I'm just like, it's not worth the time and money. He plays a victim. He plays a victim.
Has anyone officially diagnosed him with Asperger's? Where did you get that thought from?
No, just one of the counselors I was going to just said a personality disorder and agreed that she might be on that spectrum given the characteristics, but not a official diagnosis.
Yeah, ASD, autism spectrum disorder, is not a personality disorder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that can be very challenging if he is on the autism spectrum. And it's not necessarily that people who have autism don't have empathy for others. Oftentimes that's a misnomer. It's that they don't pick up on social cues, or they're not picking up on facial expressions and things like that. And so it's hard for them
that describes him. Yes.
Yeah. So it's hard for them to understand why others are seeing things differently, or that they might be feeling things differently. And then they can be rigid too in their thought process. So it would probably be really beneficial if he could get an official diagnosis, sometimes to accept that diagnosis yourself. Is he accepting it that could be a diagnosis for him?
Yes, yeah, but I think he uses it too as an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. What boundaries have you put in place or tried?
Give me an example.
Well, a boundary. I mean, does he? You mentioned that he withholds affection from you. Does he expect
correct.
sex and physical intimacy? I mean, what are the benefits that he's
me.
getting?
No, he'll punish me by not having sex.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
Okay.
reach out to give him a hug, and he might walk away. And it's his way of saying I'm the bad person.
Mm-hmm. What other benefits does he get in the relationship?
Somebody to cook and clean and take care of the house and bring home an income and take care of all the finances.
Yeah.
No, he's got it made.
Yeah. It sounds like it's quite imbalanced. I understand your frustration. So that's where you might start to withhold some benefits with some boundaries. I mean, if he's not helping out, if there's no balance in sharing of cooking and things like that, I'm not telling you to be unkind to him, but
no, and I'm not. I'm not. Yeah.
I think he would start with a conversation to say things are unbalanced, at least from my perspective, and you may even list them all out, because if he's very rigid and black and white, you may just list the things out that you do and that he doesn't do, or and then just show.
But I tried doing that, and I wrote it all down. He wadded it up and threw it at me.
So what you do is, what I'm saying is, start there and then say, because of this imbalance, I'm willing to do this. You know, you pick what's reasonable, and I would expect you to do this. And if he doesn't do those things, then maybe you do start just making dinner for yourself, and he comes home and there's no dinner for him. And it's not to punish him, but it's to help him be proactive, because it sounds like he's capable of making dinner for himself. I mean, you don't want to punish him in the same way that he's punishing you, but sometimes if you continue to receive all the benefits, there's no motivation to make a change.
No, I hear what you're saying, but that won't matter to him. He'll go pick up something. He will eat chips. Those things don't matter to him.
So should there be something a little more extreme, like, hey, I'm cutting back my hours at work, which means you're going to have to get a job now? I mean, that might be too extreme.
I've actually retired, so I have a pension, but he won't look at the bills. He won't help me pay the bills. He won't, and I'm the only income.
Yeah. So, Monica, two questions. One, you guys have been married for 35 years. I don't know if his parents are still living, but if they are, or maybe
they're dead. Yeah, mm-hmm.
They're dead. Before they died, did you ever ask his mom or dad if he had similar behaviors when he was a child?
When I talked to his sister, she says yes. He's always been like that, the way he is.
So he's always lacked motivation. He's always relied on other people and not provided for himself.
Oh, but he thinks he's Mr. So Smart. Everybody else is an idiot. Everybody else is stupid, but he is like king of the hill. Okay. So because he's so smart, he shouldn't have to work? I can't answer that.
Well, this doesn't sound like a partnership. It doesn't sound like a marriage.
Not.
It sounds like an abandonment. What would happen if he had to live by himself?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and that's something I'm questioning, honestly. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have a very active social life and things that I do outside just because that's my sanity.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, I mean, because you started the conversation with, he says to you, you don't respect me, and yet he behaves in ways that are disrespectful. He does.
So does a man get respect because they inhale and exhale? I mean, I mean, you hear men need respect. That's what I hear. Men have to be respected. Do all men have to be respected because his behavior doesn't warrant it in my eyes?
Do all men have to be respected because the Bible says, wives, respect your husbands? Does that mean that Monica's got to respect him even though she doesn't feel
we all deserve respect, but you respect the things that are respectable about people. You can't honor the dishonorable, as Steve would often say.
Right.
I mean, it sounds, what you're describing to us sounds like a very selfish, one-sided relationship, and sometimes you may have to escalate to the point. I suggest start off with small escalations, but it sounds like you've already done that, and I wonder what would happen if he had to live by himself for a time peririd.
Is he also well, I guess he's not. He can't be retired because he's never held a job long enough to have any kind of Social Security.
He can get Social Security, which is something we're looking at. So he's worked off and on.
Yeah.
So
so there would be ways for him
to right.
There would be ways for him to support himself through Social Security, possibly even disability, if he was diagnosed with some disorder that prevented him from working. So he wouldn't be destitute on the street. He could provide for himself. But like Marc was saying, sometimes we have to actually escalate it to the point of, I'm not willing, right? So whenever I set a boundary with someone, the boundary is actually for me. I'm saying that I'm no longer willing to participate in this relationship the way that it has been. Okay? Because it's so imbalanced, it's not fair, and I'm no longer willing to participate in the relationship this way. And so I'm not going to be supporting you. I'm not going to be cooking for you. I'm not going to be doing your dishes. I'm not going to fill in the blank. These are things that you as an adult man should and can do for yourself. And so I'm no longer going to do that for you until we have a more equitable relationship, right? That you can make that a parameter of the relationship.
Okay.
And what I would say is, with a boundary is, it's like putting up a wall, but there should also be a doorway in there. And so when you set your boundary, you also show the entryway back into the relationship. And so that starts with when you are able to find some equity, share some balance, we're able to, and you may even put things down like we are able to go to therapy and you have goals that you work on. Then I'm willing to enter back into the relationship. So it's not just like, this is my boundary and, you're off on your own. He understands how does he get back into relationship. God does the same thing with us. We separate ourselves with the barrier of sin, but we know there's a way back into relationship, but we've got to act and it's there. We've just got to reach out and do it. And so it should be the same thing here, I think, when you set a boundary with him.
So Monica, stay on the phone. We'll send you a copy of the Boundaries book, which has helped many people, and we think it'll help you as well. That book is also available for purchase on the New Life store at newlife.com. To Washington, D.C. we go, and then Hope in Allentown, Pennsylvania, you'll be on next. But Lisa in Washington, listening on WAVA, how can we assist you today?
Yes, hi. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. I'm calling because my sister, who is dealing with her husband with dementia and Parkinson, but it's really the dementia that has been flaring up, where he's been breaking out of the home. He's gotten really small, so whatever barriers they put up to keep him from getting out, he still finds ways to get out, or he's now acting out too aggressively and violent, like kicking or protecting himself, thinking because his whole mind is like, I need to get away from these people and protect myself. I want to die. Won't y'all kill me? Whatever. But my sister is overwhelmed. She's the caregiver for people. He has a tracking on him that where the police in the area can find him when he gets out and lays on the ground in people's yards in the back or in the pond, go to the pond. So it's so many things that are happening because he's not himself anymore. And she's trying to find a place to put him. But, of course, I know you guys can't really talk about necessarily the financial or how to, but he's a veteran. And she is overwhelmed because she's been waiting for them to respond to the paperwork that she needs to be able to pay for services that she can't afford currently. And even today, he's been released from the hospital, but she doesn't want to bring him home because he's so unmanageable and disrupts the whole house. So it's just, she just don't know what to do. How she navigates this.
Yeah.
JJ, you were going to say something, I think?
Yeah, I was just going to say one of the places I would start is with the Guardian Ad Litem program, or whatever it's called in the D.C. area. It's a specific program through the court system that helps people who are unable to take care of themselves. Oftentimes it's used with children of abuse, making sure that they have someone advocating for them through the court system.
Okay,
but she may benefit from that.
Okay, we'll talk about that when we come back.
What a New Life course is it's around a topic led by a professional, licensed counselor coach, with a small group of 8 or 9 people on a weekly Zoom call. You're going to go through the information, but also connect as a group. Those group processes make all the difference in the world. And so we have created New Life courses so that you can experience that on a weekly basis. One of them is going to be grief recovery care. We also have one for Lose It for Life. Every week you're meeting on Zoom with that therapist. You're going over the concepts as well as connecting as a group. It is so powerful and it's accessible. Wherever you are, you're going to be able to join us. We're going to start those the week of January 13th, so you can sign up right away with 8 or 9 slots open. They're going to go quick, and so you want to call today and get registered.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We were just talking to Lisa in Washington, D.C., and JJ, I wanted to make sure that you got the name out again of that organization so that Lisa or anyone else in the D.C. area can contact if they need the same kind of help that Lisa does.
Yeah, so there's a program through the court systems called the Guardian Ad Litem program, and it's usually focused on helping with children who are in the court system for various reasons. Possibly they're in the foster care system, something like that. But if I remember correctly, it can also be utilized for adults who have some form of disability, and certainly dementia would be one of those. And the Guardian Ad Litem could also help navigate the resources that would be available because Lisa's sister's husband is a veteran. There should be some additional resources available, and then finally, hopefully, the Guardian Ad Litem could help the sister with some respite care, so that it doesn't feel like it's all falling on her, since she already has so much on her shoulders. We don't want to continue to add to that burden. But obviously, most of us don't know how to navigate the mental health care system. And so that's where you want to bring in someone who is more familiar with what are the rules and laws in your area and how to best navigate.
Yeah, and someone who the Guardian would work with, that person is an independent person who advocates for whoever they're taking care of. They would need to work with the social worker. I'm sure there's a social worker over at the VA. Mm-hmm. It sounds like ultimately your sister's husband, he's progressed in his dementia to a degree that he would likely benefit from living in a memory care facility. And that's what would provide, safety for him and also respite care for your sister here, Lisa. But as JJ's saying, it's hard to navigate the mental health care system. You really got to just keep advocating and looking at resources in your area. But I would start with that. Start with the social worker at the VA and look into the Guardian Ad Litem program.
Lisa, thank you for calling us today here on New Life Live. And now, as promised, let's go to Allentown, Pennsylvania, to Hope, listening on WBYN. Welcome to New Life Live, Hope.
Hi, thank you.
So how can we assist you today?
So I was very encouraged by the previous caller, the grandma with a transgender grandchild. On the side of being a parent of a transgender child as well. Now my child, who was born as a girl, is living as a transgender man and is now 26. We've made a lot of progress. We've reconnected after not, me just having a hard time processing the past. But I love my child. I've realized that I want a relationship with my child, and I feel like I have, I want to live as a Christian, as a born again, as a person who has received so much forgiveness. I want to love my child just the way God loves me, with all my imperfections and flaws and and sins. So I want to do the same thing for my child. I want a relationship with my child. I'm still uncertain on when I have to call the new pronoun of him. Still have a hard time trying to call him by the new male name. But I try, and we're making a lot of progress. We have a beautiful relationship. My child is smart, working towards, her PhD, and I'm just a proud mom. I want to love her, but this December I was told that she wants to marry her girlfriend of 5 years and wants to have kids, and I'm just, that's another new thing to process. So, how can you guys help me process this other, new stage, I'm going to call it, of where I am in my relationship with my child?
How old is your daughter, Hope?
26.
26. And you said you've got a good relationship now. I mean, what are the tensions in it, though? Is there tension around her wanting to get married and what you believe about that?
Yes.
Yeah. And how do you guys navigate and discuss those issues? Or do you?
Yes. She just shared with me and said, Mom, I want to let you know that I'm looking forward to, proposing to my girlfriend, and I do want to have kids. Apparently, she prepared herself, to be able to have kids of her own with this woman. I still don't understand the process fully, but, I want to be there with her. I want to be with her all of her life, in spite of all this, how I feel about it.
Yeah, Hope, so many different factors in your situation. We're going to take a quick break here, and then we'll be back with you in just a little bit. And anybody else on the phone, we'll talk to you as well here on New Life Live. Thank you so much for listening today. Thank you for watching as well. You can find out more about us and follow us on social media too. Get all the links at newlife.com.
New Life Ministries saved my completely broken marriage.
No matter how much hurt you've had to face, no marriage is beyond hope. At New Life Ministries Intimacy and Marriage Weekend, licensed counselors will help you rebuild communication skills and renew your commitment to each other.
You're building authentic intimacy, and you're learning how to connect on an emotional and relational level. You're learning how to listen. You're learning how to identify those core patterns that get in the way of good relationship.
The Intimacy and Marriage Weekend is February 14th to the 16th in Orange County, California. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50. 1-800-639-5433.
3.5 years later, we're still going strong. I would encourage anybody who's struggling in their marriage to go. They are more effective than anything else we tried.
Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because, you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch, listening to all this great information and not paying. So my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Thank you so much for listening and for watching today. We are speaking with Hope in Allentown, Pennsylvania. You still there, Hope?
Yeah.
Awesome. So what do you think of what we've told you so far?
I'm waiting to just hear more of a feedback from you guys. Honestly, I think today I just don't have one specific question, but it's more about being bold and taking the step in that right direction and kind of like letting it out, because I've been keeping this inside.
Yeah. Well,
I think not too many people, relate to my case.
Yeah.
So I'm being very careful at who I express my feelings.
Yeah, it can be lonely and isolating, and you don't know what side someone's going to fall on if you try and talk to them. And you were mentioning a previous call that we had actually on a different show. We recorded 2 shows today, and so that other show aired on Monday. But I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked that other caller on the other show. Are you allowed to have a different opinion than your daughter? Is that tolerated? Is that respected?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, that's a good foundation then. So I'm wondering if she can learn to enter into your experience as she is asking for you to enter into hers, because you've known your daughter here. I know she's wanting to become a man now, but you've known her as a daughter for 26 years. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of life to live and know and understand someone in a certain way. So to be able to switch on a dime and know someone differently is hard to do. And so if you've got that foundation that you're allowed to have a different opinion, you're allowed to have different perspectives, that's a good way to try and invite her in to say, I know you want me to understand you and everything about what's going on. Can you understand what's happening inside of me? Because this is a loss for you. And she might not like to hear that it is a loss, but that's the truth. That's the experience, that it is a loss for you in this moment.
Yes, and actually, you brought up a good point that her and I had. We discussed this 4 or 5 years back when she told me, "Mom, I'm gonna, do hormones, and you're gonna start seeing the transformation." And, I said exactly that. I said, I've known you for, 20-something years of your life as a female, as my daughter, and it's hard for me to, move on like you want me to now, not seeing you as my daughter, and she said, I understand, and she understands that, but she still wants me to, respect the fact that she has made this decision, and that she wants a mom. She wants a relationship with her mom. She doesn't want me out of her life. So she just wants me to meet her where she is, which is what I've been doing. And I think it's just been the best decision, although it might not make sense to a lot of people, including church people that I consulted with. But I feel in my heart that God wants me to love my child. And I'm nobody to make a judgment.
Hope, I couldn't agree with you more. It is the right decision to love your child, regardless of what decisions they've made. To love them and to communicate your love to them is the right call. And it is hard because you are going to hear from naysayers. And it's hard because you are experiencing loss. You and Marc were talking about the fact that there's a loss here. And the truth is it's multiple losses. When we're grieving, there are layers to grief, right? There's not just one thing that I'm grieving and I drew it one time and then I move on and I'm fine. There's a wave upon wave or layer upon layer with grief. And so the announcement by your child that she now wants to marry her girlfriend is another layer of the grief that you have to walk through. There's another loss because it's another part of the vision that you had for her when she was growing up, when she was your daughter from birth to 20, 21, whenever she announced to you that she was going to transition. You had a vision of what you thought her life was going to be like, and it might have included marrying and having children of her own. And this is a very different version than what you had in mind, what you were hoping for. And so you have to grieve the loss of that vision that you had for her. And it takes time, and we don't do that alone. It's important, Hope, for you to have people in your life, and maybe they're not going to come from your church setting if you're getting opposite instruction there. But you need to have people in your life who are coming alongside of you and saying, Hope, I see you in your pain. I'm with you as you grieve this, and I'm supporting you as you try to love your child as best you can.
Yeah, and love doesn't mean agreement.
That's right.
Love means care and acceptance of freedom, too. And that you are just going to unconditionally love her as your child, no matter what choices she makes. You don't have to agree with her choices. And your grief is not an indictment of her decisions. It's just the reality, like JJ is saying, is that it happens in stages. We know that there's stages to grief, and JJ talked about layers happening, because you can go through stages of grief of one thing, and now go through the stages of grief of something else. And so if you've got that strong relationship that you can talk to each other, and there is acceptance and tolerance for different opinions, and you can have understanding, then the hope is she can see the pain that you're going through too, and be able to separate those two things, that doesn't mean it's an indictment of me because you're feeling sad.
Hope, are the people at your church just telling you to disassociate yourself from your daughter and to not have any kind of communication with her?
There's a pastor that I have that we don't live in the same state, but I've been told that I have to continue to look at my child as my daughter, and she has to understand that I am not naturally able to call her a he, or so I'm a little bit to me, I think calling my daughter a he, if it's going to make the relationship healthy, I'm willing to do that, and I'm willing to even call her by his name. Again, to continue to have a relationship, I don't see that anymore as a big deal, if I can call it that way. But it does bother me, that it hurts me that, I'm not receiving that support, especially coming from, just people who are leading us to love, unconditionally. So it's a little bit hard, and sometimes I do feel like I am, alone. But I do like, you've encouraged me once again to have that tough conversation, with my daughter, that I had. That was very hard, but we, were able to move past it. And I think I'm doing the right thing, keep loving my daughter. And like you said, loving doesn't mean accepting. I mean, agreeing, the decisions. But to me, I just want a relationship. And I do have to say that out of all this, I think the fact that I have been able to move past the fact that I don't agree with her decision, but still love her. She wants to and is doing everything that she can to come back to the Lord. She was baptized at 16, and now again I heard her say, "Mom, I want my children to know about God," and that is a big step in the right direction for me, because I think I have hope that when Judgment Day comes, it's her and the Lord. I'm not going to be there, and she can still have forgiveness.
Wow. Hope, thank you for calling us today here on New Life Live. So much for you to process. We hope that what we've given you today will help. We also want to send you a copy of the book, Doing Life with Your Adult Children. And you might also want to pick up the Life Recovery Workbook for Grief. That one's available for purchase on the New Life store at newlife.com. But yeah, we never thought we'd have these conversations years ago when it comes to, do we call people by their new pronouns, by their new names? And it's just not easy. And then when other people, you get both sides of the coin. You get the people who are against you, the people who are for you. It's crazy. We'll be back on New Life Live.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His
is.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And when you call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, you can also find out about how you can support what we do here at New Life. You hear all the people who call us on the program, and we answer their questions, and there's so much involved, so much that we offer. So if you can make a gift towards that, we would appreciate it. You can also find out about becoming a Club New Life member. We're looking to get perhaps 5 new Club New Life members every day, and you can help us at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now, here's a question that we want to get to that was sent to us by Lori, and Lori sent this question to us on our website, newlife.com. So there are different ways that you can get your question to us. You don't just have to call us when we're here doing the program, though that is the best way so that we can dialogue with you, try to get a little bit more information on what's going on. But if you go to newlife.com/radio, you will see about these other options that you have. But Lori sent this question in: what should I do to continue to heal from being a pleaser? And how do I heal my marriage with a vacillator husband? Now, if you don't know what a vacillator is, it's someone who is indecisive or hesitant. That's one of the definitions that I found. But Lori goes on, I've recently listened to the book How We Love. I'm a pleaser, and my husband is a vacillator with an alcohol, porn, and social media addiction. We have been married over 25 years, and we also work together. He can no longer work, and the best he can do is make it to work. He also has anxiety, is often angry, agitated, disgusted with me. He will not discuss planning for the future, our marriage, our kids, etc., without raging. He is very self-absorbed and does not emotionally connect with me to ask how I am, etc. He's aware of our pattern. He gets mad, and then he gets what he wants. I lost my mother recently, and she was the one that gave me emotional support. She was my best friend. I believe she was also a pleaser. In the last year leading up to her death, I started working on myself. I'm now attending church, taking classes, exercising, etc., and trying to build a deeper relationship with God. I also explored my childhood to see how I became a pleaser to break this stronghold. We were overprotected, lacked meaningful dialogue about our feelings, and I was a latchkey kid. I was filled with shame from poor decisions as a teenager and fear of not being good enough. I feel alone, and my anxiety shows up physically by teeth grinding at night and tension in my neck. I do not know how to have healthy relationships. I'm growing tired of pleasing and want to show my kids a better path. What should I do to continue to heal first? And how do I heal my marriage? Marc, what would you say to Lori?
Yeah, so for the listeners who might not be familiar with the vernacular we're using here, or Lori used here, the pleaser. So these are attachment styles. Mm-hmm. We all have an attachment style, the way that we've learned to bond with other people. And there's 80 years worth of research in this. Now, Marlon and Kay Yerkovich wrote a book called How We Love, and they gave different names to these attachment styles so that the reader could more easily identify. So the pleaser refers to someone who's a people pleaser, and the vacillator refers to somebody who is ambivalent. But in their ambivalence, they can be idealistic, and they can give conflicting messages. They can push-pull. I'm mad at you, but I want you to come after me. And then when you come after me, I'm going to continue to push you away. They protest. And oftentimes they do that out of anger. So it sounds like Lori is stuck in this pleaser role where she's pursuing her husband and trying to fix things. And then he gets mad at her until she does it his way because he knows that she's going to back down and give in. Mm-hmm. Now, I feel for you here, Lori, because, yeah, you are stuck in a core pattern. So when two different attachment styles come together, it produces a core conflict pattern. And now you have to learn to change your part in the pattern. Now, Jesus was not a pleaser. Jesus was confident enough to speak up and say things to others and have displeasure at him. And the pleaser struggles with having displeasure. So each of the attachment styles have specific growth goals that they can grow in, because what research shows us is that we don't have to remain this way. We can become securely attached. And we do that by making sense of our childhood story, which it sounds like Lisa was trying to do. But it's not just enough to make sense of the childhood story and have awareness. And it sounds like what she's saying too is her husband's also aware of the pattern, which is even more disappointing because he's choosing to stay in insecurity. But the hardest part of this work can be the practice part of the work, learning to do the thing that is opposite of what you are doing that is keeping you stuck. Now, pleasers need to learn to be able to have an individual voice so that they can differentiate from their spouse. They need to learn to speak up. They need to learn to be able to tolerate displeasure. And they need to learn how to hold boundaries when somebody is angry or rages, like Laurie's husband is doing. Here's what I would encourage you to do, Laurie, is as you work on your side, find an individual therapist, because in order to be able to practice holding boundaries, you need to recreate a situation. And so I often do this with individuals in therapy who come to see me and they're struggling with a marriage or another relationship and they need to learn how to stand up. And I will role play with them. And I will start off by, I'll tell them, first of all, hey, you be the person who's really difficult. You act like them. And I'm going to show you how to stand up to them. And then after we do that, we'll flip, because you actually need to practice whatever you want to become. And so as you practice in that environment with a person who you know is safe, who's only pretending, that's not going to take away all of your fear, but it's going to give you a template to learn what to do. And it's knowing that the path to wholeness and healing is often discomfort. So it's going to be learning to live in that displeasure and hold a boundary, because your husband's going to continue participating in a cycle if it has a benefit for him. If he continues to be able to get angry and rage and run you over and get his own way, he's likely going to continue to do that unless he has this epiphany that says, I don't want to be this way anymore. I want to be different. So you work on your part, and the hope is as you give different responses to him, he won't be able to do the same thing, because you're going to be willing to walk away. You're going to be willing to stand up. You're going to be willing to hold a boundary. You're not going to let him tantrum and then get what he wants, and he's going to start to learn, okay, that's not working anymore. And I would also encourage you to get into couples therapy. If you can. And what's great too is we have Intimacy and Marriage that's coming up February 14th, Valentine's Day. And we cover all of this stuff at Intimacy and Marriage. And JJ is one of the presenters there.
Yeah. JJ, do you think Laurie and her husband would benefit from Intimacy and Marriage?
Absolutely, without a doubt. You know, to Marc's point, one of the things, it's not just we help you identify what your insecure attachment style is and will always be. It's what it has been to this point, but now we want to help you learn how to become secure connectors, secure attachment, and we do that by following the model of Jesus. Jesus was a secure connector. And part of, and not to oversimplify, but part of the way we know this is, you know, in the book of John, right before Jesus washes the disciples' feet, John gives us this little tidbit. He says, Jesus, knowing who he was and where he was going, got up from the table, took off his outer garments, wrapped a towel around his waist, and washed the disciples' feet. So he knew his identity, he knew who he was, and he knew his mission. And for us to be secure connectors, we have to learn who we are. We have to identify who we are, and we have to learn what is the mission that God's called us to. And when we do that, then we're able to be vulnerable and take off that outer garment. Then we're able to move into ministry and service to others, because we don't feel like we have to stay protected.
Laurie, thank you for sending in your question online through newlife.com. So many different resources there at newlife.com, including information about the Intimacy and Marriage Conference coming up February 14th. Early bird pricing ends January 31st, so you will want to get in on that. And you can do that at newlife.com.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.